What's up, y'all? Back again, long time no post, but I figured here as we come up on Labor Day, I do a little something. I wanted to show you the work that goes in to operating a stick burning offset. Very important when I say that, because not all offsets are stick burning. Some people run a combination of charcoal and maybe add a stick or two for flavor, and that's fine. There's no right or wrong way to do it. I want to talk specifically about people who have dedicated stick burning offsets, and they don't use charcoal, or if they do use charcoal, they just use a little bit of it to get themselves started. I did a video also showing how I start my Lang. This is my 48D Deluxe on trailer frame. So let me show you what we got here. It is a considerable amount of prep work that you need to do on any offset, but specifically on the smaller size, quote-unquote smaller size, which is what I have. I've got the 48D is considered an extended edition. So this is the wood that I'm going to cut for to run on that burner over there. I've already got one on my kindling cracker. The first thing I want to point out here is you're going to need a way to get your splits smaller. So you see this big split of wood that doesn't fit inside of my fire pit as firebox on my offset, and I doubt it will fit in anybody's firebox. You're going to need to get it into a smaller size, roughly half of this size. So I'm going to use my kindling cracker. That's what this is. This is the big version. They have two different sizes to get this down into a smaller size. And for those who are wondering, this is mostly oak with a few sticks of cherry that I'm going to use just to give me a little bit more color. Doing pork butt and some chicken quarters tomorrow. So what you end up with is you're going to end up with something that looks like this, right? And it look like this. Hopefully it comes off in the camera, and it should be about half the size, plus or minus, of a full-size split, right? Hopefully you can see this on the camera. So we're going to split this guy down into this size here. This one happened to already be smaller when I picked up my hickory. So I actually haven't split any of these, but when I picked up my quarter cord of hickory, some of these were already at this size. So this brings me back to my second point. You're going to need to split these guys in two, roughly. And if you notice the size of them, they're about, I don't have a can, but they're about the size of a Coke can, right? Plus or minus. So when you hear people talk about you need to be dealing with Coke can size splits, that's what they're talking about. They don't talk about how you get there though, right? So that's another thing that you're going to need. You're going to need a miter, right? This is mine. Ryobi ain't necessarily the most robust miter saw that you can get, but for my budget and my needs, it does me just fine. This is the 10-inch. If I had to buy it over again, I'd still stick with Ryobi, but I'd definitely get a 12-inch versus a 10. You just want a bigger blade if you can get it. Miter saws are not necessarily built with the intention of cutting raw timber like this, logs like this. So get yourself a big blade, a bigger saw. It won't hurt, especially if you got a bigger piece that you're trying to cut. So I'm going to miter these in half, and those will make up my fuel. I will sequester a few of them off. This is one that I've already done that I do not cut right? So I'll take some of these. I'll definitely do the same with the cherry ones that I have, and I won't miter those. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to get a bigger size split, so that when you put it into you put it into your firebox, it doesn't ignite as quickly. For lack of better words, I don't want to use the word smolder, because that's effectively kind of what's happening, but smolder is a bad word for stick burners. But you want it to burn a little bit longer and produce a little bit more smoke than you normally need. That 1 to 2 hours or so, potentially 3 hours into a cook, you want more smoke. That's when the food that you're cooking takes in the most smoke. So and all of this, of course, is to taste, right? This is all subjective. What I found is that I like a little bit more smoke flavor, and so what I do in order to get that is I run my pit a little bit cooler, and I run a couple of larger splits like this, full size, going kind of at an angle perpendicular in my firebox, and that's enough to give me just a little bit more smoke flavor that I like. That may not work for you. There is no right or wrong answer here. You kind of do what you want. The last thing, of course, is a wheelbarrow. I keep all my firewood back behind my house, and then I load up what I need and bring it out to my garage. In an ideal world, I'd keep my cutting apparatus and my firewood together to reduce the amount of movement that I have to do, but that's not possible for me. So definitely, invest in a wheelbarrow if you don't already have one. It's gonna make it easier when and if you need to move firewood around. You can move it. That was an additional cost that I hadn't factored in when I first got this thing. So my point to all of this is, like everybody likes good barbecue, but a lot of people aren't willing to do the work that it takes to get you there. This is what I found that I have to do to get the results that I need. Could it be more efficient? There's always room for efficiency improvements. But this is the setup that I use. I do all of this prep work the day before. That way, when I get ready to start my cook, get my fire started, and off I go. The last thing you want to do is be in a situation where you have to fabricate more smoking sticks, more fire. You gotta work in the middle of the cook to get full splits down into a workable split for your fire, for your pit, right? You don't want to do that. So I'd rather be in a situation where I've got an abundance of wood to start off. I'll use what I use. I don't have to worry about it. What's left will go into another cook. That's fine, but don't be in a situation where, in the middle of the cook, you got to go through this process and start cutting wood. That sucks. So hopefully that helps for the people who are new to this and trying to figure out, what all they need to do. This is what I do. It works for me. It might work for you, or you may need to, try something else or make slight modifications to this. So I'll let you know what I'm cooking on another cook. But hopefully this helps. Talk to you later. Peace.